to Root Chakra 101. This is yoga for your Muladhara. Sanskrit to English translation. Yoga meaning to yoke or union. Muladhara, mula being support, and adhara being support, mula being your root. So it's yoga for your root chakra. And we're going to yoke our physical, mental, and spiritual bodies together through these practices. That is what yoga is. Most people here in the West think of yoga and they think of only the physical postures in Sanskrit asanas that we do. But yoga is more than physical. It works on the body, mind, and the spirit as well. We have to remember that our body is a three-way system. We have our physical body that we feel, okay? We have our mental body that brings us our thoughts, and we have our spiritual body which holds our emotions and our experiences. Okay, so when we merge the three together, that is yoga. Our spiritual connection to our physical existence, our physical connection to our spiritual existence. I like to use the Oreo cookie analogy of the two dark sides of the cookie, one being your physical body, the other being your spiritual body, and the white cream in the middle being your mental body, making that connection between the two cookies. Even if you were to open that cookie and that cookie, you got one side with just a little bit, you didn't see any cream on it. If you look very deeply, you will see a small sliver, a very shiny substance. That is that connection that has been made regardless of how clearly we break that cookie. So with making that connection, if we have any blockages in our mental system that would prohibit us from going physically to spiritually, spiritually to physically, I would compare that to having a Oreo cookie with a little thin layer of aluminum in the middle. You can't see it, but when you go to take that bite, you can't clearly connect from the physical to the spiritual or vice versa because there is a blockage. So yoga through meditation helps us to deal with those blockages. Those blockages prevent us from having that clear connection. Our spiritual body is what holds on to our emotions and our experiences. So as we're doing our meditation, our mental body connects us both to the physical and to the spiritual. You may have some emotional things that come up. You may go into some thoughts about some ailments in your body, all kinds of things we're going to want to go into and write those down. Okay, let's see here. We want to use the asanas, the physical practice, to work on our body. We're going to use it to tone our body, to strengthen our body, to stretch our bodies, to detoxify our bodies, and to massage our organs and our glands. The physical process helps us on the mental and the spiritual level as well. When we're doing yoga on the spiritual level, we can think about how we're bringing our intent, our energetic makeup into our process. So when we're doing our asanas, when we're doing our meditations, when we're doing our breathing exercises, our journaling, we want to be very aware and bring our clear intent, okay? Our intent is our energetic makeup that we are putting into the practice. There is nothing written that can describe yoga to you and make you to understand yoga, because it is a process or practice that's meant to be gone through, to be experienced. It is an ascension or a development process. So I can tell you all day about yoga and what it's done for me and give you the exact poses that helped me with my root chakra and give you the exact breathing exercises and the class assignments. But until you bring your awareness and your intent, then you will only be doing the work that I've told you. You are not experiencing it for yourself. And that is what we need to do here. Our goal is to experience it. Everything in yoga begins in the mind, everything. And mastering the mind is the goal of the spiritual practice. A little bit about the intention for this course. This course I have designed to give you the information, the techniques needed to understand, become aware of, and to attend to any imbalances that may be in your root chakra. This course does use yoga terminology, which is written in Sanskrit. Sanskrit is a language over 5,000 years old. It was the language that was used during the recording of yoga, and I choose to keep a lot of the terminology in Sanskrit because the language is much more powerful than the English language. The English language has been through lots of filtering, and it is the new kid on the block, not even using the same type of rules and regulations that a Latin-based language would use. So I choose to keep most of the information in Sanskrit. Doing yoga does not make you a Hindu. While a lot of Hindus do practice yoga, yoga is separate. It is not a religion, okay? It is a practice that we bring into our regular lives. In this course, I may use some religious examples. I don't come from any one religion because each religion has a little bit to teach us. So while I'll use some religious examples, they are not to justify anything. They are to help you to understand where you may already have some awareness to the issue, or where that particular part of the religion is referring to a practice that we do in yoga. There are no materials needed for this course. However, there are some like to haves. Okay, some things just make things a little bit more comfortable. If you do not choose to practice yoga on the ground, you would want to get a mat. I will not make a recommendation on any particular mat because, like I said, it's not needed. I would recommend 3 journals, one for your physical body, one for your mental body, and one for your spiritual body. Okay, also some earphones when listening to guided meditations and healing sounds, a comfy pillow for meditation, or a zafu, which is a meditation pillow, or a chair. But we do not want to be lying down when we meditate because it is too easy to fall asleep, and we want to keep our awareness and our intention in our practice. Also, you need to bring your clear and focused intent. And last but not least, my dear sister M. Rain has developed a trance oil, or a meditation oil, that carries the vibration of taking you deeper. You can find that at magicalmystic.com, which is magicalmystic.com. I highly recommend it. The journals. You can do 3 journals, or you could do one of those 3 subject notebooks, whichever you like. The physical body journal, we are going to write down on a daily basis everything that we intake into our body, be that food, beverages, whether they be water, fruit beverages, alcoholic beverages, sodas, anything that we intake into our body, any drugs that we intake into our body, whether they be prescription, over the counter, or illicit. This is your journal. It is about you and your development. And you want to see how everything that you intake affects your development, okay? We want to write down all yoga practices that we do and how long we did them. Any other exercise that we did for the day, any breathing exercises that we did for the day, we want to record that. Any physical issues that we experienced throughout the day, if we have a headache, we want to write that down. If we're sick, we have a cold, we want to write that down. If we can't sleep, we want to write that down. We want to write down what time we went to bed and what time we rose. We want to write down if we went to the restroom. This is a physical journal that's going to capture our daily lives day by day for 28 days, so that we can look back and make a comparison and see, are there any repetitive actions that I need to deal with? Are there any things that I'm missing? Did I do something this day that made this day better? I need a written record of what works and what does not work for me. Like I said, this is a deep delve course. The mental journal, we are going to record our dreams. First thing upon waking, we are going to write down our dreams. We are going to write down any feelings, any people, any colors, any smells, any feelings. Did we eat anything? Did we receive anything? And what stood out in our mind? Who was in the dream with us? First job. We also want to write our meditations in that journal. I used to carry a separate dream and meditation journal, but they go hand in hand, so now I've combined mine. I suggest it, but you can do it however you like. But for this course, it would be great for you to compare if you write down your dreams and meditations in that same book. You also want to write down any repetitive numbers you keep experiencing throughout the course, any repetitive signs that you keep experiencing. Do you keep seeing feathers? What's going on? any repetitive symbols that you keep seeing, any symbols that actually strike out, and what thought was in your mind when those repetitive songs, symbols, signs, numbers came up. What thought was that was triggered right before you saw that? In your spiritual journal, you want to write down your spiritual journey. It is like a basic journal, and when you think about it, our spiritual body deals with our emotions. Sometimes seeing the repetitive issues coming up over and over help us to think about what we're doing in our lives, what we need to be doing better, what we could be doing differently. Just seeing that in writing tends to help us to make changes in our lives. Also, you want to dump down your emotions in a journal, because there's a Hopi tradition that you do not take your problems into the home of another. So I would not come to your home and say, blah, 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 because that is your place of your spiritual retreat. That is your place of peace that you go to each and every day to relax and enjoy on the time that you have off and alone. So I would not go and dump that there. But it's appropriate to dump it in your spiritual journal, okay? And even if you do have to talk with someone and have some counseling, or to have a friend that you lean on, or a family member, that's okay too. But sometimes we just need to get stuff out. We just had a bad day, and so-and-so made us mad, and so-and-so, I can't believe they did this. And it really doesn't need to go anywhere else but our journal, okay? So a little bit about the course flow. This course will move with the cycles of the moon. So the moon has, it goes through a 28-day cycle, and the energies, they change throughout the month, per se. So the energy's lasting a few days as each change is made. So if there's any reason that you miss a class, remember, not taking it that day does not make us a failure. It's getting back into the class, getting back into the practice that makes you a yogi. Falling out of the pose, we get back in. So if you miss it, you want to try to get it in that next day if possible, because you want to utilize that energy for what it's worth and what it's there for, if you're trying to take this as deep as possible. Okay, this actual class is starting today, being a new moon in Taurus. Now, if you're watching this a year from now, it may not be the same, but this being a new moon in Taurus and a Mars, it being Tuesday, a day of Mars, a day of fighting war or combat, we want to take that energy and use it for what it is, a day of combat. We want to combat any self-doubt, because this is what our root chakra deals with. It deals with our sense of existence, our sense of survival, our right to be here. We want to deal with any fear. We want to conquer that and go to war with it. We want to deal with being broke. Being broke is only because we're not secure in ourselves enough to shape our own future. We're still allowing somebody else to shape our future. That is why we're broke, because who wants to be broke? You don't just sit around thinking, man, I want to be broke for the rest of my life. No, it is because of an imbalance in your root chakra. Our finances are directly related. We need to be able to manifest from the spiritual to the physical world. Okay, so if you think about the new moon in Taurus, you think about Taurus in the zodiac sign being a bull being very stubborn. We don't want to go into this practice with a stubborn mind. We want to have a childlike wonder and explore our root chakra and get to know our root chakra, become one with our root chakra and completely understand. Okay, so we want to really go in deep. A Taurus, while they're stubborn, they are also at the same time very, very dependable. And that's what your root chakra is. It is very dependable. It is your connection or your gateway to the earth's energy, your right to exist in this plane. It is your connection to the physical dimension. Okay? If you didn't have that connection, if it wasn't running dependably, even if it's just the size of a pilot light, just keeping you existing, it is very dependable, because without that existence, you would not be here. Okay? So our root chakra is dependable, and Taurus is also very prosperous. So if we put this work into our class, into our course, into our practice, think about the prosperity that will come along with it. Taurus is also a sign of the spring, and spring is about rebirth. We've all been birthed onto this earth already, but now we want to rebirth into our own sense of identity. We've been going through life just bouncing along with belief systems built in our mind off of what somebody else taught us. We are going to go deep into our practice. We are going to think about whether that everything that we believe is something that is tried and true, or if it was passed down, okay? Was that learned through some other way, culturally, religiously, whatever? Okay, the classes are going to be available on this course as early as 2 a.m. If you are watching in the future, the classes will be labeled. The best time to do your yoga and your self-care being between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m., the absolute best time. Second time being between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m., that being the Vata time in Ayurveda of insight, high insight. If you think about what you're doing between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m., most of the time you're dreaming. Very insightful. This is why the first thing we're doing when we wake up is writing down our dreams. So if you were to wake up early enough to come out of your dream and go into meditation and into your yoga, bringing your intent and your awareness at that most creative time, that energy, that time with the most creative energy of the day, think about how much of a head start you would have on your day, how good you will feel. This is the absolute best time to perform your yoga, to perform your meditations, okay? The next time that, now then also this is for people who really want to go deep and give their all. Because if you think about it, most religions even tell you wake up early to pray. Again, this is not for everyone to do everything. What you put into it is what you're going to get out. I highly suggest the times 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., but do what works best for you. Everyone is on their own level of development, okay? Because remember that yoga is a journey to yourself, through yourself. It's not something that you memorize from a book, and it's not a script that you read. The next time of the day is going to be the kapha time, which is 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., basically your dusk to dawn times. Those are the times you want to be grounded, you want to spend with family, you want to wind down, or you want to wind up. If you think about the 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. coming right after the Vata time, so let's just give a basic day. Let's say we work and we have to be to work at 8 o'clock, okay? So we sleep until 6 a.m., hitting the snooze, 7:15, 7 o'clock, we'll say we're up. Wow, we're up. We got to be to work at 8. So now we've got to rush, brush our teeth. We've got to get ourselves together. We got to shove some food in our mouth. We got to go sit in this traffic, drive to work. We get to work on time, barely, or late. And we're stressed out, and now we're trying to start our day, but we haven't even taken that time to center ourselves. So now we're at work and we're not productive. We're at our job, we're at our business, we're with a client, whatever it may be, we're not productive. So if you were to have done your stuff early in that Vata time, you would be ahead of the game. Everybody else is running in here at the last minute, trying to figure it out. They're not on time, they're late, they were stressed out, they slept too late. They didn't get a chance to center, and you are here looking like the superstar that you are, okay? Those times are what you want to do. Those times are going to be the most beneficial time for grounding and things like that, family. The Pitta time, which is the last dosha time that I want to talk about, is between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. And it is the best time for a very hard task that you really need to put yourself into. If you think about it, if you were working a job 9 to 5 and you didn't get up at your Vata time, let's just say you didn't get up and you took your kapha time to get together. By the time 10 a.m. comes around, even if you didn't get up or you did get up, you're ready to go. Everybody gets the most productivity at that time of the day. After about 2 p.m., you start going back into that Vata time. People at work or on a computer in the cubicle start shopping online and working on a project, making phone calls to family, daydreaming. You start to go off into that insightful time again. So 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. being the Pitta times that you want to get the best rest. 10 p.m. to 12 p.m., the sun's vitality is still present in the Earth's atmosphere. You get the most healing sleep between 10 p.m. and 12 p.m. So just imagine those extra 2 hours of healing that you could get if you utilize utilize that time. Okay, so PETA being the most creative time and the best time for sleep, also the best time for your digestive fire. So making lunch maybe your biggest meal of the day because your digestive fire is the highest. Okay, if you are doing a full dive into this, and I hope that each and every one of you are, and you want to really go deep, you want to cut off all technology at least an hour before you go to bed. I worked in the energy industry for 11 full years, and every year we took a resilience class with a gentleman named Peter Kruger. He's out of the UK. He has scientific evidence about the blue light technology that we use. So Peter, I was paying attention, and I tried it and trued it, and it works for me. If you utilize a cell phone, a computer, an iPad, or a television right before bed, it's hard for your brain's waves to make that adjustment into sleep mode. It is tried and true, and it is scientifically proven based on brain waves. So you want to turn that off. I even like to take it a step farther and turn the internet off in the house, especially if it's in a room that you sleep in. So these are, like I said, not for everybody, but if this is something that you want to add to your practice to take you deeper in, then I would highly suggest it. I know it seems like a lot, but this is about showing up for yourself. And if you feel like you don't have time, this goes hand in hand with the very first assignment, the very first two assignments. So unfortunately, there is no yoga during the full moon or the new moon. When we take in the pranayama through our breathing, which we will get deeper into further in this course, there is an energy within the pranayama called apana. And this energy is very weak at the new moon and very strong and overpowering at the full moon. So it's not the best use of your time to practice yoga on the new moon or the full moon, because it's either too much or it's too little for you to really get the benefits out of your practice. So those dates would be utilized to go inside and to journey inside out from the internal to the physical, and to get into your journaling and to get into your meditations and your visualizations, and you can really make more use of your time. So the first assignment is going to be our affirmations. Okay, we're going to write our affirmations, and our affirmations are going to be our intent for this course. My affirmation is, I am one with my root chakra. Okay, it can be as simple as that. Your affirmation can be, I am grateful for the understanding that I have for my root chakra. You want to make it positive, because the mind, the laws of attraction pull what we think about to us. So if we're constantly, everything is in the mind, and we're constantly thinking negative, that is what we are going to manifest and attract to us. So our affirmations that we're going to speak on a daily basis need to be positive, and they need to be telegraphic-like. You need to have them on a very telegraphic-like basis. Not a lot of words. I am grateful for my understanding of my root chakra. I am one with my root chakra. I am so happy that I took this course to know my root chakra. I've learned so much. Or just basically, I am. Whatever it is, you want to make it very specific. The less words, the better, because the mind works better with visions and images than it does with words. Words have limitations. First, you have to understand the words that you're saying. You have to be using the correct terminology. You have to be understand the definition of the word. Okay? You have to also understand that words have translations. So you may have a language barrier, somebody speaking Italian to you and you speak Mandarin. The words aren't powerful, but if they were to show you an image, then you could be able to understand. So we want to really get into our visualizations when we're doing our affirmations, because again, we are going to, after we write down our dreams, we are going to read our affirmations to ourselves out loud every day during this course. So they need to be strong, and that is our assignment for tonight. Tomorrow morning, when we wake up, we are going to write down our dreams, and we are going to go into our meditation. By going into our meditation, we are just going to sit quietly with our meditation journal, not going deep into a meditation if you're not familiar, because we haven't gotten there yet, but writing down and visualizing ourselves as the mayor of Nicoleville or Johnville or Gilbertville or Yorville. Okay, you are the mayor of that town, and you are going to make the rules of what happens and what is allowed to happen in that town, what is illegal and what is illegal. Okay, this is going to form your beginning of your assignment. You want to really look at those things that you write down. What is legal and expected to be a proper citizen, and what is illegal and you should not be doing, or else you are not a proper citizen of my town. And then when we write those down, we want to think about why we feel that way. What makes us say that whatever it was, selling drugs is illegal, murdering somebody is illegal, sleeping with someone's husband is illegal, picking up somebody's child is illegal. These things could be very true, but we need to write it. We need to figure it out. Is this something that I really believe, or is this something that somebody told me was wrong? And then when we think about the positive side, we'll say, walking someone else's dog is expected of a good citizen. Always being friendly to other people and speaking to them is expected of a good citizen. Never lying is expected of a good citizen. Opening the door for old ladies is expected of a good citizen. And we're going to think about those things and think about, are those things that I believe tried and true, or are these things that have been passed down to me? Now, just because they're passed down to me doesn't mean they can't be tried and true. A lot of things that we practice and that we believe that are passed down are actual things that we believe. But you need to really go inside and you need to decide if these beliefs are yours or if they belong to someone else. That is going to be the first two assignments, or I like to call them self-journey work, self-love work, but I don't really want to call them assignments because I can't grade them, can't give you an A through F, because only you know how deep you're going and how much of a benefit that you're getting from your practice. Okay, so this is the first class. It's just a brief introduction, but you should thank yourself for showing up for yourself. Be happy, be grateful, be excited about this class. Take it with a childlike wonder. In the morning, we're going to write down our beliefs, good and bad. Tonight, we're going to write our affirmations. When we wake up, we write down our dreams, recite our affirmations 7 times out loud into the ether. And I will see you next time. All right, everyone. Namaste and have a great day.